We have three graduates speaking today, and the first of them is Ryan Barnett.
Good morning. My name is Ryan Barnett. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. A few weeks ago, I was graciously nominated by the class of 2019 to get up here and say a few words about our grade. Probably something about unity or independence. The challenges we've faced and the interminable fortitude we've demonstrated. A couple personal anecdotes here and there. I might reference a book I read in a class or something. Maybe I'll slap a Dr. Seuss quote on the end and call it a day. Yeah, that sounds good. The truth is that I'm honored to be doing this. In a class full of such extraordinary individuals, I am as grateful as I am nervous to try my best at articulating why this class of 90 kids forever shaped the person I've become. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to disappoint my extended family in front of everybody that I know and respect. Part of the hero's journey is the refusal of the call. Courtney Ryan told me that in the fall of freshman year, and the class of 2019 taught me that in the fall of this one. I remember being a junior and watching the grade above me graduate. There was this collective fear amongst my classmates that we'd never amount to the senior class that they were. We were afraid we lacked the cohesion that they had, this effortless bond that kept them together. It seemed like everybody was friends with everybody, and in high school that's almost inconceivable. But then all of a sudden, we were seniors. Now, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that our senior class is some unified entity that's held together by the miraculous power of love. The class of 2019 is like a second family to me. Cool. But I can truthfully say that about halfway through this year, I glanced around the old library as my classmates faced the workload of week 7, and I realized I was surrounded by people I trust, people I feel safe with. Somewhere along the way, you all transitioned from vague traces of people I'd someday like to meet to close, important friends of mine. Recently, I've been wondering when that change occurred. It happened slowly and then all at once, as these things tend to do. There's a cyclical nature to that awkward transition from junior year. It starts with the refusal of the call, the mindset that we can't possibly live up to the grade above us, and then suddenly we are the grade above us and we're left to our own devices. You'll spend an afternoon with somebody you've barely talked to and then wonder if you guys have always had so much in common. You'll observe Aaron Lee browsing his computer during economics class for weeks, and then eventually you'll figure out that he's actually reading cookbooks and your perception of him will change drastically. You'll watch Simon Cheng Huang get a nearly perfect score on Just Dance and then suggest that he pursues dancing professionally. You'll find something unique to appreciate in all 90 kids in the grade, and then you'll all collectively wonder why you didn't do this sooner. And then you graduate. And suddenly, high school is something you have to refer to in the past tense. And then the cycle repeats itself. It's easy to feel cheated by how cruel the final trimester of high school is. How is it fair that you only realize how good things are when you're halfway out the door? The truth is that it isn't fair. But today I ask you to try and make amends with that bittersweetness. I am full of regrets about so much of my high school career. Anybody who tells you that they aren't is lying. I regret that I never joined the urban chorus. I regret not visiting Karen's office more than I did. In all honesty, I regret the ways that I treated so many of my classmates during my time at Urban, succumbing to this social hierarchy that arbitrarily deems who's cool and who isn't. There are these invisible forces acting on every high school student. Forces that tell you how to talk, how to dress, who to surround yourself with. I've acted shallow, not treating people with the respect that they deserve because I had some vague notion that that's what I was supposed to do. It was a refusal of the call in its own way. A call for decency, for leading by example. It took me almost 3 years to realize that these forces can be ignored. That just as easily as we put them up, we can tear them down. And I'm sorry for not realizing that sooner. And I know what my class is thinking. Is Ryan giving a graduation speech or a public apology? To that I say it's both, and it's also your fault for nominating me. But after 4 long years at Urban, what I regret most of all is not getting to know my classmates sooner. That cohesive senior class we thought we'd never become has been staring me in the face since freshman year, and I only figured that out like 5 weeks ago. But these regrets are necessary. What if realizing how extraordinary each of my classmates are right before we go our separate ways is this school's final lesson to each of us? A lesson that no matter how much you think you know somebody, you've only seen the tip of the iceberg. Class of 2019, thank you for showing me what's underneath, for proving to me that something is underneath. Thank you.
Great time here.